I'm having a great time. How do you feel at the first
I
quarter?
love to look at pictures, talk about myself. Everybody likes to do that.
Well, there was one other event that unfortunately I wasn't able to attend this year, and that was the 175th birthday of Hillsboro, Ohio, where you were born. And they asked you to come back for the celebration. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I had a letter from the lady mayor, a lady named Betty Bishop. And she said, you were born 75 years ago, and we're celebrating the 175th year. Will you be the Grand Marshal of the parade? And I was delighted. I couldn't think of anything I would rather have done. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it up myself. But she was very gracious. And being a lady mayor, what could I do but say yes? She turned out to be a delightful person, too.
What's it like to be a Grand Marshal?
Well, you ride in the first car, and behind the honor guard, the color guard, and all that. Then they let you get out at some point along the line and watch the parade. I never saw the rest of it until the parade stopped, and then went by, and then I brought up the rear after the calliope.
Oh.
And as a result, I got to see the parade too. I enjoyed it very much. Sat with my friend Norman Naylor, who had been my drawing partner when we were both from the first grade up through 7th grade.
Did you sit in front of City Hall or something?
No, I sat across the street from the house I was born in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That house is still standing?
And George Caniff, my cousin, was born there 10 years later. He lives in Dayton now.
Mm-hmm.
And here, the house is not only there, but it's much better than it was when we lived there. It's been restored, and very handsomely restored.
Oh, how exciting.
Nice.
Did they allow you to go into that house?
They would have, except we didn't have time.
Uh-huh.
So I met the owners. They were there for the parade as well.
Yeah.
And there's a tree, a great big tree there that was just a bush, or just a little sapling when I was a kid. Now it's a great tall thing. That was a marvelous afternoon, a beautiful day, and such as today. The sun was shining bright. And it was noisy, and all the fire departments from all around the county.
How many people would you say came out for the parade?
It's hard to tell, of course, because the parade ran for maybe 4 miles or so, and the streets were lined during the entire time.
But you are about the most famous person that was born in Hillsboro, aren't you?
Well, they had 2 governors who were born there, grew up there, and their names, of course, are associated with the town. Depends on what you mean by famous, you know.
Right.
There was a great baseball writer named Hugh Fullerton who came from there, and in his world, he was a big man.
Mm-hmm.
But the greatest person from there was a lady who founded the Women's Christian Temperance Union.
Oh.
She's the one they brag about.
What was her name?
Mother Thompson. Her name in later life, I forgot now what her actual name was. But she took ladies around and knelt in the snow in front of the saloons until they closed. And they say it easy. You see those pictures of those great big Civil War skirts, and the ladies kneeling there, and the guys in the doorway of the saloon mocking them. But there were no saloons. They'd stop one by one until the place was completely dry. And that was the beginnings of the WCTU.
Your family really didn't spend a lot of time in Hillsboro, did they?
Of course, they both, my mother and dad lived there when they were young, and then after I was born, we started in 1912 going from Hillsboro to Redlands every winter, then back to Hillsboro in the summertime. And that continued until 1919. When my dad came back from the Army, he did not go back with his old job, as a lot of guys don't want to, you know. He got another job in Dayton, so then we moved to Dayton.
Yes. Now, in the National Cartoonist Society did a wonderful magazine edited by Buck Peters, which the whole magazine was like a tribute to you on your 75th birthday. I did the color collage in response to a request from President Bill Keene, and that was a lot of fun for me to do the cover of that magazine. But inside, Fred Lasswell did a double-page spread of you, of historical photos of Hillsboro, Ohio. And when you showed me that article, you pointed out something that Fred couldn't possibly have known, but accidentally did something. Can you tell us about that?
There's a picture of a place called Stabler's Store. It was the local 5 and 10 type store. And there were people standing around with the decorations and whatnot. And one of the people was my mother. She was a clerk in this store, and that's where my mother and father met. He worked on the newspaper next door, and he went in to buy a safety pin or something. And she was the clerk, and that's how they met. And here she is in this picture, which Fred Laswell couldn't have known about.
Yes.
There she is. I had seen the picture before, which is how I knew that was my mother.
That's great.
And she was a redhead at the time. Her hair was still fiery red.
That was Elizabeth Burton.
Elizabeth Burton, yes. And she lost all her hair when she had typhoid fever, which was a sad thing.
Oh.
They didn't have wigs for women to buy and rent.
My God. Did she get it back?
Not fully. I never did get back fully.
I see.
Not the way she had looked before.
We have some pictures laid out here on your drawing table. Can you just kind of flip through these pictures
Yes,
and describe some of the events?
One of the things about little towns of this kind is that they change surprisingly little. Sometimes the personnel changes, but the place itself and the tone of the place doesn't change. This is a shot of me with the lady mayor, this is key to the city kind of thing. And this is Lucy Caswell and her kids and Bunny and Willie. Now here's the actual parade. You ask about what does a Grand Marshal do. You ride in a Model A Ford, which you wonder is going to make it.
Oh, that's great.
Sitting up on the back of the seat, as in the Rose Bowl parade, you know. And
Tom, you can get close-ups of these later.
Yeah, you can cut into the things.
Yeah.
And the people are all very warm and generous. They knew who I was. There's no sign on here that says who was the Grand Marshal.
There you are, sitting on the back seat.
It was well enough
raised.
publicized.
Yeah.
On some of the other floats and things, they had such things as this.
Is that a rumble seat there?
Yes, that's oh sure. Model A Ford.
Yeah.
A lot of kids running around today that weren't here. Wouldn't have been here except for that rumble seat.
Oh, these are great shots. Welcome home, Milton. That's beautiful.
And here's the driver with the straw hat, and this Bunny and me. Well orchestrated. This whole thing was well done. They had all the deputy cops and everybody else out. And nothing went wrong. Everything was in good order.
Look at how you had an all-white suit on with a red.
Well, in the summertime, the Grand Marshal should wear the white hat or whatever, you know, the white suit in this case, no hat at all.
Looks great.
And it fit the scene. Everybody looking as if she's enjoying.
Oh, she looks so proud. Oh, that's a beautiful photo, Bunny. There.
Yes, it is.
God, she looks
sitting on the
gorgeous.
reviewing stand, by the way.
Oh, yes.
And
there's Willie.
There's the lady mayor and Willie.
Our dear Willie. We're going to get her on videotape today.
Great. This is the banquet which preceded. This is a different party. This was the Aviation Hall of Fame party in Dayton.
Oh, handsome photo.
They happen to be in the same envelope. Good shot.
You've done a lot of portraits for the Aviation Hall of Fame at Dayton, haven't you?
97 of them.
97. Beautiful, not cartoon portraits either. These are done
straight heads.
With great careful modeling and all, really realistic.
Here's a guy who was candidate for governor. He lost, by the way. But you can see he's selling the stuff there. These are the portraits in the background.
Yes. We're going to try to get those in the Aerospace Museum, in the gift shop in the Aerospace Museum of San Diego.
These wonderful people, especially the wives. This is a widow of one of these guys whose pictures in the Aviation Hall of Fame, and they treat them with such deference. The guy's gone, but the widow is invited.
Now you have a ribbon hanging around your neck.
This is
what is that?
An award thing that they gave me for making 97 free drawings.
Oh.
They give you a gold watch, you know.
Oh, that's
no,
nice.
I don't mean to put it down. It's a lovely medal. It's in Columbus now with the other stuff. And this has nothing to do with Hillsboro. It just happened to be back to back.
Well, it's nice to see these too.
This is.
Your life is so full of these events these days, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this 75th year, of course, caused the concentration.
How do you manage to keep turning out Steve Canyon daily and Sunday with all these other events to take care of?
It gets a little difficult sometimes.